So here's Chris, and we just finished up our deadlifting, and a couple questions, Chris. We're obviously using a different kind of bar than the conventional straight bar that you see here. So what's the difference between the two? Is there advantage in doing one or the other?
It really depends on your skill level as a lifter. The big advantage to using this bar, which is a trap bar for deadlifting, is because if you look, you're able to stand in the middle of the weight, which puts you in a better position to stay. You have your weight evenly distributed between your heels and your toes.
Yeah, I felt like it's right over you the whole time.
It's right over you. It allows the center of gravity to be closer to your center, which is going to make it an easier pull. Now, when you bring out a straight bar, okay, if you notice here, the straight bar, if I were to deadlift, it's now in front of me. So when I go to pull off the floor this way, the bar is going to want to pull me forward. So it takes a little bit more skill to have to keep the bar close to your body and really think about leaning back. So for people who are just beginning, learning the deadlift, I always suggest to try to learn here first, because picking something heavy off the ground is not as easy as it seems. It's very, very technical. It can be very complex, and the easier that you can make it, the better. So by standing inside the trap bar, where everything's around your center, it's going to make it for an easier pull, and it's going to make for better results a little bit quicker.
Now, Chris, I've seen guys when they do deadlifts, and I've always done where I just kind of do a neutral stance like this, but I've also seen those out here like this, and this is called the sumo stance, right?
That's correct.
Now, why do they do that? What's the difference between this stance and then the more conventional stance that you have to do?
It's all about leverage. So as a competitive powerlifter, I want to maximize whatever leverages that I have. I have a really short center of gravity, so for me, if I come out to my competition stance here, I don't have to travel the bar as far.
Okay. Gotcha.
If I come here, go into conventional competition, now all of a sudden my range of motion becomes bigger. I have to pull it farther. Okay? But someone like yourself that has long legs and a short torso like me, you would actually benefit from more of a conventional stance, okay? Because you're long limbed. So you're able to use your leverages to your advantages a little bit more efficiently with your feet closer. The exercise is still the same. You're still picking something heavy off the floor. When you go to a wider stance with the sumo, some people believe that it allows you to activate your hips a little more because you can come straight down when you go to stand. When you do a conventional and your feet are closer here, you can't obviously get your hips quite as low, so now it becomes a little bit more quad dominant than it would be a hip dominant movement where it is as if your feet are a little bit wider.
Now, we're talking a lot, obviously you do competitive obviously you do competitive powerlifting, but if we're talking a lot about powerlifting, usually when you hear deadlifting, you think powerlifting and stuff, but deadlifting is actually a really good functional movement.
Exactly.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. In my opinion, the deadlift is a foundational function movement of all of life. If you're a parent, or you have kids, or you have nieces or nephews, what do you have to do? You have to bend over and you have to pick them up, right? Anytime you have to pick something up off the ground and put it overhead, bring it up to your chest, hand it to somebody, bring in your, exactly. Anything that you do where you pick something up off the ground, you're doing a deadlift. And if you actually think about it, the first movement you do when you're born is a deadlift. Because what happens? You've been in this position your whole life, and then you come out of the womb, and what's the first thing you do? You extend all the way up.
That's a great analogy.
So you've been doing it since your birth.
Yeah, and it behooves us all because you have to find somebody who doesn't get to the point where they start complaining about lower back pain or anything. You have to learn how to pick stuff up and use your hips and use your muscles instead of trying to yank it up with your back.
Yep.
Awesome, Chris. Boom!